Right guys, welcome back to the channel. So today what we're going to go over is 808s. So if you make beats, the chances are you want some hard 808s, and sometimes you just can't seem to get that sound that you want. So in today's video, we're going to go over 5 tips to help you improve your 808s. Some you might know, some you might not, but all these things will make your 808s slap. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video. If you're new here, follow me on Instagram, subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We might be at it by the time I upload this. Let's see. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. So let's get into it. Right, so like I said, we're going to go over 5 tips, and I've just wrote them down somewhere. Right, so here we've just got a beat that I just made. So I'm going to turn everything off, and then we're going to go through how I would improve it. Right, so as you can hear in this beat, the 808 isn't very prominent, and the main thing you want is that 808 to really... So the first thing is distortion. So if you've been making beats for a while, you probably already know to add distortion, but I'm going to show you what settings I use on basically every beat. So maybe you can steal this. So first thing you want to do is open a bus. So I'm using bus 1, and I've put my sends to minus 15.8, and I've just stuck this overdrive plugin on. So overdrive, if you don't know, is Logic's stock distortion, and like I said, these are the settings I use. So depending on the 808, you can sort of mess these around. So you got this drive. So I have that around 18, and the main thing that really makes the high end come through is the turn knob. So that is a huge difference. So off, and then on. So like I said, these are my settings. I just literally threw that turn all the way up. If you have one that's already pretty distorted, like say the old girls the same 808, you can just pull this down. The reason why you want to do this is so that the 808s come through on things like phone speakers, because not everyone's going to be listening to it on some like expensive ass monitors. And yeah, this is the way I've been doing it for like ever. Right, so the next one is attack and release. For 808s, I use Alchemy, which is this, which I think I did a video on 808s already, so go watch that. But this is something that I haven't really been doing that long, and it's this part here, which is like the attack and release. So this is huge if you really want to make your 808s sound like a particular way. For example, this 808 that's in my free drum kit sounds like this. And depending on what BPM you are working at, it just sounds like too long. So as you can hear there, it just seems to go on forever. So like I said, this is where primarily this hold knob is important. So you can make really long 808s shorter just by pulling this down. And it makes this 808, which is my favorite 808 ever, you can just do a lot more with it. So I normally pull this down to like here. So you can literally make it like a real short one. So let's just get a different 808. So with the old girls are the same 808, you can hear like the tail like just dragging on too long. Whereas if I pull this down, the next thing you can do is 808 slides. So this is something I also do in like every beat. So you got this 808 pattern. When the beat finally comes in, it just sort of sounds a bit meh and start lacking something. So this is where you can do an 808 slide. I'm going to do a different beat for this. So instead of this, that's still pretty good, but if you go to the end of the 808s and just put a little one here, so just at the end there, then you can go back in Alchemy, and you want to turn this to legato if it's not, and basically these settings here, and I just turn the glide up to say 30, and now instead of that boring one, you've got this. So yeah, so just add something to the end. I mean, you can go crazy with this glide and really... Sometimes I put a little glide when it comes in as well. So like that, so that is 808 glides. The next one is pretty simple one, and it's just note velocity. If you open up your 808 track, you'll see this velocity bit at the bottom. So if you don't think the 808 is strong enough, you can just highlight them and just crank this to like 120 if you want. There's kind of like a point where it just becomes like too much for me. It becomes a bit like a dubstep 808. So instead I just crank this to say around here is usually good. And the next one, which is a pretty important one, is gain staging. So I found a lot of the times with 808s and really any sound that I've been using, gain staging has been the biggest thing. Sometimes just turning it louder gives you sort of that effect that you was going for. So how I'd gain stage my 808, so I'd start with the kick and the melody. So you just want the kick sort of a little bit higher than the melody, so it sounds a bit more punchy. So as you can hear there, the kick's like coming through quite punchy, and it's the loudest thing in the mix. So once you have everything else in, so the 808 is normally the last thing that I mix in. So now I've got all the drums sort of sounding pretty good. So the way I do it is I just sort of leave myself a section where everything comes in. So I've been a sucker for just turning this 808 all the way up like that. And that is not how good mixing works. So you just want sort of everything being nice. So I normally have my 808 around here. And yeah, that is pretty much all the tips I have. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Right guys, so that's been it for the video. Hopefully this helped. These are just 5 things that really help my 808s go. If you're new here, follow me on Instagram, subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please help me. And yeah, that's pretty much been the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.